You know we got to talk about Jazz Chisholm Jr.'s Yankee debut. And, of course, we've got some news and updates for you guys coming out of the Bronx. So let's talk with the Yankees beat writer for the Post, Joyce, who's currently down in Philly ahead of the Phillies series. Greg, before we even get into the series, trade deadline, let's talk about my main man, Jazz Chisholm. He made his debut at Fenway on Sunday. Boone had him bat fifth. So would you say that he's the help at the middle of the order that they've desperately needed? And is he the piece that this lineup's been missing?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be an energetic guy, a guy that can bring a jolt here just ahead of the trade deadline when the Yankees need it. Like you said, they had him batting fifth last night. Aaron Boone said he kind of sees that as a middle of the order bat for now. He seems like a guy that could eventually take over leadoff duties. Although Alex Verdugo and Gleyber Torres, who have kind of split that at times, are just starting to hit both of them. So we'll see where he ends up, for the bulk of the season. But it sounds like for now, middle of the order. The biggest middle of the order addition is Giancarlo Stanton is coming off the injured list today. So that'll be another boost to that lineup depth and everything. But yeah, Chisholm is a guy that, brings some speed. He's going to be active on the bases. The Yankees think his left-handed swing will play up even better at Yankee Stadium than what it has, during his career with the Marlins. So, he's a guy that they think, can kind of give him a spark here that in addition to what the internal guys options that have started to come around a little bit here over the last couple of days and weeks for different guys. But certainly, there's still about 27 hours until the trade deadline. Still could potentially see them add another bat, but it was important for them to get on the board with one here in Jazz Chisholm.
Well, you mentioned him coming in and kind of bringing some energy. He's kind of shaking some things up as well. You got an article on the Post right now about second baseman Gleyber Torres kind of not wanting to move to third base. What's Boone's options in terms of getting some consistency from the corner? Do you think that Torres' comments can kind of come back and haunt him?
So it sounds like they're going to give Jazz the first shot at third base. I think he's going to play there tonight. It sounds like he's just out early, kind of moving around third base with infield coach Travis Chapman. They think his athleticism can kind of play there, and he's a guy that is also used to learning new positions on the fly. He moved to center field, he's a natural shortstop, but then moved to second base and moved to center field, last year, I think it was. So he's a guy that's moved around, has that athleticism. Gleyber, didn't seem thrilled about the idea of moving over to third base. He said he didn't really like it when he did it in the minors, which last time he did was 2018. He said he sounds like he'd prefer to stay at second base, which Boone said he understood. But they're still going to get him some pregame work over at third base just to kind of, leave some options on the table there just in case. But, it also kind of coincides with Gleyber. Really the last month he started to hit after a brutal start to the year. So it seems he's got a good thing going right now, so you don't necessarily want to mess with that. So keeping him at second base and having Jazz at third kind of seems like the way they go right now. But again, you never know what other moves they make here before the trade deadline that could kind of clear things up for them in terms of who plays where.
We're talking about a team that's trying to get their juice back, though, Greg. Like, would you say that those comments are kind of selfish, or do you truly believe he just doesn't want to mess up getting back into the groove? I'm talking about Torres.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, he said he acknowledged that he had the conversation with Boone and that everything's on the table, and he seemed amenable to at least taking some work over there. But he's a guy who's in his walk year, and it's been a rough year for him, and he's just starting to finally turn the corner here over the last month. So, Boone said he understandably didn't, he understands where Gleyber's coming from. And Boone said he would have some reluctance playing him there right now. So they're going to give Jazz the first chance, see how that goes. And I think it's probably the right call right now, just to, getting Gleyber's bat to hit like it has last month, I think is the most important thing for what this lineup needs right now.
All right, we're about a day away from the trade deadline. You mentioned that Brian Cashman could add another bat. Is there anyone or anything out there? Is there a scenario you see that we're not seeing on our end in terms of him being over, bringing in more help to this Yankees team?
No, I think, the biggest need right now is still the bullpen. They haven't addressed it yet, but would certainly expect them to do so before 6 o'clock tomorrow. We've seen some trades go down for relievers so far, and the prices have been pretty steep. So there's still a number of guys out there that could help them, but it seems like it's going to come at a pretty good cost for whoever they are able to land. And the other thing too is, you can't kind of shut the door on them potentially dealing somebody from the big league roster as well. Nestor Cortez is a guy that's been mentioned as someone who's come up in trade talks. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get moved, but if they were able to, move a guy like that to get help, I think they haven't shut the door on that. Just trying to find different ways. Cashman always talks about if the prices are tough in one area, you can kind of supplement a strength in other ways. So you never know where it kind of lands them. I think they have a lot of balls in the air right now trying to impact the roster. And it seems like they're, would expect more to come before 6 o'clock. I don't think they're done with just Jazz Chisholm, but we'll see how it all kind of shakes out.
All right, you're down at Citizen Bank Park for this Phillies series. How big is this series for the Yankees, and what are your thoughts going into this one?
Yeah, it's a big test for them. They face Zach Wheeler tonight and Aaron Nola tomorrow, Chris Sanchez on Wednesday. So they get the best of the Phillies rotation here, which will be a good test for them. As Stan comes back, as Jazz kind of gets his feet underneath him with the Yankees. But it's also big just because, they got the 2 wins in Boston to finish off that series win. They kind of have some momentum under their belt, which has been really hard to come by over this last 6 weeks, really. So they just need to kind of build off of that if they can. I don't think they've won 3 straight during this stretch. So it's been since early June since they won 3 straight, which is what they're going to be trying to go for tonight. And they just kind of need to get rolling. It seems like, the momentum has just been really hard to come by. But so that's the biggest thing we'll see what other acquisitions they have by tomorrow night. And then at that point, that's the team you have. And you go for the race for the last 2 months of the season.
Let's see if they can get some love in the city of brotherly love. Greg Joyce, thanks for hopping on with us, my man.
You got it. Thanks, Brandon.